is his last shot. You said it. Lewis Carter and Sammy O and McKenzie and those pups coming in this year, they don't have to wait. Brent has refilled the cupboard. The cupboard is not bare like it was his redshirt puppy year,
Mhm.
where he was going to get thrown into the fire. They have depth,
Yeah.
and Kip is a football player. By the way, Kip's a 4-4 guy.
Yeah.
Kip's a 4-4 guy. So Kanak's a 4-3, 4-4 guy. Kip is also a 4-4 guy. He's got the body, he's got the length. He's not putting on weight. I think he's 214. And then you got the puppies. Lewis Carter's in another league. Sammy O is in another league. They are just a different caliber of player. So Kanak, for me, he's polarizing.
Is there really a chance that Jiren Kanak could find himself the odd man out in the Oklahoma Sooners linebacker room? Welcome back to the Sooner Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, particularly Oklahoma college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring that bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football's Sooner Magic Podcast. Welcome back to the show, everybody. And what a subject this is. Was watching one of our favorite Oklahoma shows of them all, the Horns Down podcast, the other night. Chris had Barry and Mac from the Barry and Mac show on. And one of the bigger subjects they were talking about was Jiren Kanak. We're going to get into what they talked about, kind of give you a little bit of how I feel about it as well. But before we get into today's topic, I want to give a special shout out to our new partners here at Hall of Fame College Football, Mint Mobile. I am super grateful for this partnership with Mint Mobile because, let's be serious, if you're anything like me, you're overpaying for your wireless service. But with Mint Mobile, you can get everything you get with big wireless, aside from the big price tag, for as low as $15 a month. Speed, coverage, data, 5G access, mobile hotspot. It's all available right there on Mint Mobile and for way less than you're used to paying at your big wireless carrier. How do they do it? Well, they basically just reimagined the entire wireless experience. That's all. They made it simple because they made it online. Now, no more going down to Big Wireless's store and dealing with a pushy salesperson or having to wait in a long line to do so. Everything you do with Mint Mobile is right through its app on the phone that you already own. You can literally go and purchase your service from the phone that you have and activate it right now. TryMintMobile.com/HOF is our partner link. And if you sign up today, you can get 3 months of unlimited talk, text, and data for just $45. That's $15 a month for the best package they have for 3 months. If you could get it with big wireless, you can get it right here on Mint Mobile. Check it out and thank me later. Once the Oklahoma Sooners' emotional leader on defense, Danny Stutzman, was sidelined with an ankle injury in the second half of the 2023 season, an injury that at minimum contributed to back-to-back losses on the road to Kansas and Oklahoma State, and ultimately resulted in the Sooners missing out on an opportunity to win a 15th Big 12 Conference championship since the league's inception. The whispers kind of stopped being whispers. By the time Oklahoma had finished the regular season with a steep descent in defensive efficiency, giving up more than 35 points over their final 5 Big 12 matchups ever, those whispers, fair or not, had now become roars, especially with regards to Stutzman's understudy/bestie, Jiren Kanak. Because without Stutzman on the field to direct traffic, Kanak was essentially non-existent too. Maybe it was genuine confusion. Maybe Kanak simply lacked confidence in his ability to make the correct reads, decisions, and plays in a sophisticated defense that Stutzman himself struggled to grasp in his first season playing for the demanding Brent Venables. It could have been a case of looking over his shoulder or simply paralysis by analysis. In the end, nobody had time to continue trying to diagnose the cause of whatever ailed Kanak, nor could they rely on the hope that he would suddenly have the light click on in regards to the advanced Venables scheme like it had for Stutzman earlier in the year. As physically gifted as Kanak clearly is, Venables and then defensive coordinator Ted Roof could ill afford to allow him to play his way out of it, not while there was still a glimmer of hope that OU could qualify for the conference championship if the team won its final 3 games. So Venables and Roof chose instead to go with Kip Lewis at the Mike linebacker position, even if his ceiling wasn't quite as high as the ultra-athletic Kanak. I think it's fair to say that what you saw with Kanak's film in high school, where he just basically dominated Kansas high school football at every position they had him playing at. I mean, the guy played quarterback. He played a lot of, he ran the ball. He was a running quarterback. He played defense, kind of a safety position, return kicks. He was really that do-it-all guy, kind of like a Brian Urlacher was when he was in high school or in college even. That being said, I think what you saw out of that and just the fact that he looks the part, his size, his speed, that freaky athleticism that you saw, the ability to run that 4-3, probably had Brent Venables envisioning another project player that he recruited to Clemson simply on pure athletic ability. Plus his belief that he could mold him and teach him the things that he needed to know in order to make him an impact player for the Tigers. Now that of course did work out, but it did take Isaiah Simmons up until the last really season and a half before he really seemed comfortable playing in the system and doing the things that he was supposed to do, not being out of position. It took him a while to get there. The problem for Kanak, he may not have that kind of time. Not with the guys that are coming in and are chomping at the bit to get their playing time. And also not with guys like Kip Lewis who, for whatever he gives up in terms of size and speed, that look of just that, he looks like a football player on the field. Those margins are pretty marginal, just really not very much of a difference. In fact, you start talking about size and speed. Kip comes in at 6'1", around 215 pounds. He has struggled to put on some weight. They'd love to have him up over 220, 225, whatever. Kanak is 6'2", and he weighs closer to 230 pounds. Now, speed-wise, Kanak, that's one of the things that, with his body size and everything else, he's able to fly around. He's a 4'3", 40 guy. But that being said, Kip Lewis is a 4'4" guy. We're talking about marginal differences, and they even get even more marginal when, you figure in the fact that everything Lewis does on a consistent basis are the things that Jiren Kanak has consistently failed to do up until this point. Again, do you have enough time to be able to fight those guys off? He's clearly, at this moment right now, he's behind Kip Lewis on the depth chart. And a guy like Kobe McKenzie, who same age and everything else, he seems to have caught up with him as far as development. Then you add in the fact that you've got a couple of top 100 blue chip all-star linebackers entering their second season in Norman and probably figuring to get quite a bit more playing time than they did as freshmen. Talking about Samuel Omosigo and Lewis Carter, not to mention James Nesta and Michael Boganowski. Things are definitely, as Mackey said, probably starting to slip away from Kanak if he doesn't get it together right now this spring. Yesterday, for that matter.
This is his last shot. You said it. Lewis Carter and Sammy O and McKenzie and those pups coming in this year, they don't have to wait. Brent has refilled the cupboard. The cupboard is not bare like it was his redshirt puppy year,
Mhm.
where he was going to get thrown into the fire because they have depth.
Yeah.
And Kip is a football player. By the way, Kip's a 4-4 guy.
Yeah.
Kip's a 4-4 guy. So Kanak's a 4-3, 4-4 guy. Kip is also a 4-4 guy. He's got the body, he's got the length. He's not putting on weight. I think he's 214. And then you got the puppies. Lewis Carter's in another league. Sammy O is in another league. They are just a different caliber of player. So Kanak, for me, he's polarizing.
What does all this mean? It means that if Jiren Kanak cannot seem to figure out what's going on and get and be in the right places, playing at full speed and using his athleticism, then he's probably going to get timed out on this deal. It's just the nature of the beast when it comes to Division I championship level football, and that's what they're trying to play at Oklahoma. Let's listen to what
Kanak got some things to be worried about, right? From a physical standpoint, you said it. He's a great athlete, but football requires you to be a great athlete and a great football player. And the film just doesn't bear out him being I would say an A plus or even a plus football player. Examples. As a linebacker, your responsibility is obviously to get to the spot, but it's to beat the offensive player to the spot, to the shoulder, right? To the gap, right? Wrong shoulder plays to spill it the other way, right? If you got to buzz the flats, you got to get to that upfield shoulder so the running back can't run away from you. If you're carrying a seam route, you got to get to that inside shoulder so you can get your head around and try to catch that ball, or at least be a blocking mechanism in between the ball and the quarterback throwing the ball. Those are all things he does very slow. So although he can run a fast 40, although if he's running away, if he's on the backside of a play and he has the opportunity to flow, hell on wheels. If he has the ability to blitz, a B gap, hell on wheels. If he's inside out on somebody pre-snap, hell on wheels. But when he has to think, he's the slowest linebacker on the team. And it's not close.
Look, I'm not looking or trying to seem like the bearer of bad news or completely be negative about Jiren Kanak. As I've said, and as I believe, as what you've seen on K. Chris's show and throughout from a lot of the content creators that cover Oklahoma, is that Jiren Kanak has at least the athletic ability to be special. The problem is that you have increasingly talented players coming up behind him and in the same classes as him that are seemingly getting it when it comes to what their assignments are and where they need to be. If you're struggling with overthinking and stuff like that, you're looking over your shoulder at who's trying to take my spot, you're not ever going to be going full speed. And if you're not going full speed, all that athleticism really doesn't matter. And you become a liability that probably ends up the odd man out. When it comes to Kip Lewis, he seems to have a command of everything that's going on out there on the field. At one point during the show on Thursday night with K. Chris, Mackey had said that he felt like Kip Lewis may actually be the leader of that linebacker staff, even with Danny Stutzman back in the fold. As of right now, Kip Lewis is the starting Mike linebacker. And if that is the kind of thing that's going to mess with his head a little bit and stuff like that, it doesn't bode very well when you've got young, hungry, very talented guys, as Mackey said, like Samuel Omosigo and Lewis Carter, not to mention Nesta and Michael Boganowski chomping at the bit to get on the field too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Again, I am a fan of Jiren Kanak. I think that talent-wise, I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to be a big-time player on this team. Does it require maybe you put him in a position where the reads aren't so sophisticated, that, a little more just, being see ball, hit ball kind of thing? I know that's really not a situation that you see a whole lot with Brent Venables defenses, but at least situationally, it's possible that he could, contribute in that way. The hope is obviously that he has really started to get it together with the playbook, and we see a big improvement out of him come the spring game. But let me know what you guys think. Should he maybe look to move to another position? Hey, look, a lot of what you saw out of him in Kansas was an amazing ability to find the end zone as an offensive player. The guy returned kicks. The guy was, played quarterback, running back, pretty much whatever. And he was an unstoppable force. And with speed like that, seems like you would be able to find something for him to do. Now, whether or not that's something he cares to do, that's remains to be seen. But when you only have 2 years left of eligibility before you got to go off to the NFL, or at least try to, it might not be a bad time to make a switch like that, a la Blake Bell, somebody like that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And look, make sure you get over there, check out the full episode of the Horns Down podcast with K. Chris, along with the guys from Barry and Mac. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in. Hey, if you haven't already, become a subscriber to the Hall of Fame Sooner Network and the Sooner Magic podcast on our other channel. Please go over there and check that out. It's also obviously in the description below. We got to get everything transferred over there as soon as we can, but we got to get to 1,000 subscribers before I can migrate all the Oklahoma stuff. We appreciate everybody who has contributed to the growth of this channel. Again, I'm not hating on Jiren Kanak. I think he's an absolutely fantastic player, but at some point, you're probably going to have to find your way into either a good situation or he could end up out of here because of the fact that there's just so much talent being built right now and there's depth in the room. Those guys, somebody's going to end up leaving if they're not getting playing time. So let me know what you think about that. Make sure to get over there to K. Chris's channel. Hey, if you're not already a subscriber to the Horns Down podcast, make sure you do that and share it with your friends, Oklahoma fans, stuff like that. Get over there and do that. He's so close to 1,000 subscribers, and he's putting out killer content more and more all the time. So get over there and check that out as well. Again, thanks a lot for coming in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.